Hey, hi, hello, welcome back. And if you're here for the first time, welcome in general. We are gonna do a little get ready with me and a little bit of a Q&A. I put out a little poll on my Instagram and got a couple questions about me, my artistry, the industry, stuff like that. So we're just gonna get glammed up while we answer some questions. And just so we're clear, this is hey, this is hi, and this is hello. Don't forget that. Welcome back. So I already did my main skincare, but I am gonna go in with a little bit of the Bobbi Brown face base to start because we all need a little bit of extra help. Okay, so we are just going to go right into it, and everything that I'm going to be using is going to be linked down below if you're curious about what it is. Something I discovered was that my brows are not hideous, they just require brow gel. Okay, so one of the main questions that I got was what inspired me to choose this as a career, and the honest answer is impulse. I've always been a fan of horror movies, scary stuff, which is a pretty typical answer for makeup artists, special effects people, things like that, but I really have from a very young age. And because of that, I took an interest in it. I just kind of did it for fun. When I found out that schools actually existed to where you can make it a legitimate career, I dropped everything. I was in college at the time, regular four-year university. I quite literally finished the semester and dropped out and signed up for school in Los Angeles and made my way out in less than a year. So impulse and horror movies. So then to backpack off that, another question I got was if this was an art form that I enjoyed overall, like I always enjoyed. And yes, I did. It just wasn't something that I knew how to make a career out of. So it was something I would just do for fun. It was something that I would do just to kind of pass the time when I was bored. Beauty was not always an art form that I enjoyed. I got into it more and more because I wanted to be more versatile, however you say it. And I was really terrible at doing my own makeup. So I wanted to get better and just be well-rounded overall. So it's like a yes and no, because I did always have a fascination with it, but for a while I didn't really enjoy it. But now, obviously, I enjoy it a lot. Okay, next one is, was it hard getting into the industry? Yes and no. It's easy to get started because there's so many student films, there's so many small projects, there's so many things that have a lot lower pay and are really good for the experience as a new artist. That was really easy to get a hold of, but getting into things with bigger names, bigger budgets, takes some time unless you know somebody, and I didn't really know anybody. It's definitely, you take baby steps. You take baby steps and it takes a while. So it's easy to get in, it's just hard to work your way up, if that makes sense. I hate my eyebrows still. Giving my ghost a moment to shine because I'm blind. I need to get close. That being said, for the next question, the perfect lead-in is, what was my first job and how did it go? My first paid job, like official paid job post-graduation, because I had been working when I was in school, but my first like big girl job was Rocket Phone. It was a commercial. It went good. I say that because it also traumatized me. They didn't know that the talent had tattoos, which meant I needed to do a tattoo cover. I didn't bring anything for a tattoo cover at the time because when I had asked about that in the consultation phone call, they said I would be clear on all those things. So luckily it ended up working out because it was on them. I don't say that in like a blaming way, like they took the blame for it. They're like, we didn't know, we should have checked. You did ask us, we're sorry about that. So I had to make it work with what I had, and I made it work to the best of my ability. It looked fine. It was definitely stressful though. And now to this day, I pack anything and absolutely everything, even if they say not to. But it was a quick little easy job, camera ready makeup, 2 male talent, 1 child, and it was really easy. And I still really enjoyed my time. I don't normally put on concealer, but we're having fun today. Here's Kevyn Aucoin. Now, if you are unaware, this is a very challenging time in Hollywood. So someone did ask me what has been the push to keep me going, considering I joined this industry right before the pandemic, and then we've had all the Hollywood strikes and things like that. Not a lot of work has been happening because of that. So essentially what keeps me going? I'm insane. That's what keeps me going. And it's also the fact that I honestly could not see myself doing anything else. I feel like when you find your passion and you find the thing that is meant for you, literally nothing can get in your way. So I joined as a professional right before the pandemic started. I had a good couple months starting out, and then everything just kind of stopped come 2023 when I was really on a roll. I had been full-time and I was making a living off of doing this freelance, and that was really great. And then it just stopped, and I thought about quitting, but then I really realized I just can't do anything else. So it's quite literally just the fact that I feel like I really found the thing that was meant for me, and I can't let it go, and I'm not gonna. So I'm here to stay, I guess. Okay, now we're gonna get into some specifics because somebody asked what is the biggest challenge for me when doing special effects makeup. And the honest and truthful answer to that is time. Film and TV is very much a fast-paced environment, and when it comes to special effects, ask any artist, the time is so important and probably one of the most important things that we need in order to create that realism. But a lot of times it gets cut down and you have to make it work. But time is my best friend and my biggest enemy at the same time. Also, my Nana got me this brush and I'm kind of in love with it. Now we're about to get slightly touchy because somebody asked me what I would change about the industry. A lot. But the main thing I think that I would change is the standard starting rate for non-union projects. Non-union meaning there are no ginormous production companies behind it, the big names that you know aren't attached to it, things like that. Because a lot of those starting rates, while they're good for a lot of starting artists, they are not good for artists like myself and those who are way more established. But since things are the way they are, union rates are not great. They don't have a good starting rate. It's cheap. It's just cheap. So I would definitely change that about it. I think that we need to be more gracious towards our artists and understand what we're asking for and why it costs what it costs. But on the flip side, they want to know one thing I like about it, and the truth is I love, as a freelancer, essentially being my own boss. I get to pick and choose when I work, who I work with, and things like that, and that is probably my favorite part. As unflexible as this industry is, it has been the most flexible in terms of what I want to do. Oh, another thing I love about the industry is the pro discounts. I cannot go into Ulta or Sephora anymore. I love being spoiled with discounts. Back to the special effects category. A very common question is, what is the craziest special effects look I've done? I don't think I'm allowed to say to the full extent so that Mr. YouTube punishes me. The best way I can describe it is self-mutilation. Self-mutilation. That is the craziest special effects I have ever done. It's very icky and goopy and gross and so much fun. The worst part of doing a glam is sitting still. I can't do it. Now, another question, still related to film and television, is how many times do I have to reapply the same makeup look over and over again on an actor throughout a film? And the answer is there is no one set answer. That is kind of a hard question to answer because it depends on the project, it depends on the looks. Continuity is obviously a very important thing in film and TV, so characters look the same and stay the same throughout the film, but sometimes I may have to do a look only twice, sometimes it needs to be one look the whole movie, sometimes it's the same general base but there's distress or there's more glamour and I'm just building on top of it. There's really no set answer. It also depends on if they are a lead, if they are a day player, if they are somebody who's gonna be in the film for a very long time or not. I've had talent where I've done the exact same makeup for 3 days in a row. I've had talent where it's changed every day, and if it's character makeup, that's a whole other story. So the answer is there is no set answer. It is a very much per film, per scene, per storyline basis. Also, fun fact, I have never done this type of eye look before, so let's see how it goes. I told myself going into this it was just gonna be browns, no blacks. I don't know why I lied to myself. And if you guys love this look deeply enough, I could do a tutorial on it But so far, I'm just here to chit chat and have fun. Next question was asked more than once, so of course I had to put this one in here. Being that I work in the industry, there are people, there are names. And one of the biggest questions is, who do I want to work with the most and why? I have a list and I don't have a list. I mean, essentially, given my profession, I'm not a very big celebrity person. I'm not really into that type of stuff for the reason that I can't be. Like, professional wise, you have to keep it cool and casual. That being said, I would have a heart attack the day I get the Eminem music video. That's all I have to say. I have a couple people though that I would really like to genuinely work with. I would like to do a lot more musical artists, those I'm a fan of. But overall, as far as actors go, Dylan McDermott is somebody that I have had on my bucket list for a very long time. So I'm hoping that I get that one day because I just really like him as an actor. I think he's very talented and I think it would be amazing to get to witness that in person. A couple of other mentions would be Angela Bassett because I love Angela Bassett, Jessica Lange. This is not an American Horror Story plug. I just happen to love all these people. And as far as musicians, of course, I mentioned Eminem. I'd love T. Grizzly, Kendrick Lamar, people like that. Just people that I genuinely enjoy watching and listening to would be really fun. Because I've already gotten a couple people under my belt, but I'm not gonna say who. Now, this next question is kind of a big one because they wanted to know, am I going to change my last name when I get married? And if it would have an effect on my career, considering I have a foothold already with the name I currently have. The answer is both yes and no. I will never get rid of the Missy Andrea title. That will always be there. That will always be part of my name, but I would not be opposed to hyphenating or essentially making Andrea my middle name. So that way I could kind of do a little bit of both. I don't really have a problem with changing my last name legally, but as far as my business name, I do want to keep my main staple. So Andrea will never go away. It just might have a little extra at the end of it. It won't necessarily have an effect regardless. It'll be pretty easy to kind of, one, I'm not going to lose my connections or anything just because I have a last name change, and it will definitely still be credited the same. You'll still be able to find me under the last name because I'm keeping my former one with me and or hyphenating essentially. So it's not really going to have that much of an effect. It'll just be kind of annoying with business taxes eventually for the switch over, but other than that, I'm changing it. I'm gonna definitely take the last name. Not sponsored, but if you're not using the Stila Stay All Day eyeliner, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is another big one, and it is quite simply, are you worried about AI? Yes. It's already had a huge effect on everything in the industry. And it's kind of similar to when CGI became so huge and normal. It definitely slows special effects artists down. And now it's at the point where it will even slow down beauty artists because AI can do just about everything. But I also realistically think that practical effects is the best version of effects that you're ever going to get. It just brings a different type of feel to movies, to film, to television. I don't think that'll ever go away. I just think it'll be more difficult to kind of get things up and running, and like with CGI times, it'll slow down quite a bit, I think, as it already has. So I'm definitely worried about it, but there is always somebody out there who prefers and respects the practical effects. So I'm worried, but I'm hopeful. Sorry, wing wasn't big enough. Had to go back in. I always do this. I always bring my eyeshadow out not super far, swearing I'm not gonna have a big wing. I lie to myself so much. The day that I'm not doing a big annoying wing is the day that you should call the police because it's not me, it's an imposter. This was so much more subtle in my mind, but that's okay. There wasn't enough glitter up here, I don't think, so we're just gonna add some more. Next question, which is another common one that I get, is who is the most influential makeup artist, effects makeup artist that kind of led me here? What really got me interested and started in learning how to do more was actually a YouTuber. It's Made You Look by Lex. She does a lot of body painting and she would do like Halloween tutorials and things like that. And I really loved her. She definitely opened up the world of body painting to me, and she is the reason that I body paint today. I didn't realize that was something that I fell in love with until I saw someone else doing it. So she definitely gets a lot of credit for that. As far as industry professionals, Neil, she's done Beetlejuice, Pirates of the Caribbean, things like that. She has been very influential, especially in special effects, being one of the very few women to start doing that stuff. So that's really cool. And she just does really good work. So I loved her. As far as special effects goes, even to this day, I still follow and appreciate a lot of people. Christian Tinsley, Kenneth Calhoun, Bill Corso, people like that. There are a lot of really, really good effects artists out there. And I definitely have a lot to live up to if I continue in this career. This question is hard, so give me a minute to think. The question is the top 5 must-haves in my kit. Great question. So if we're going for beauty, my top 5 must-haves are going to be any of the Danessa Myricks Color Fix little tubes, any of them, including the gloss. I also absolutely cannot live without my Nye Colorless Neutral Set. It goes great on every skin tone, and I would die without it. Number 3 must-have is 110% a foundation palette. Not bottles, not from a specific brand in general, but a palette of foundation, so you have a wide variety for all of your clients. The 4th for me would be a good setting spray for obvious reasons. How's your makeup gonna lock in if you don't have a good setting spray? And then my personal favorite is going to be a nude eyeliner. Nude eyeliners are my favorite thing to do on my clients. It's my favorite way to brighten the eyes and widen the eyes, and I can't live without it. The top 5 must-haves in my special effects kit, however, are going to be 3rd degree silicone, opsite tape, red drum blood because it's my favorite blood to dress wounds and it dries the fastest, alcohol palettes, and a lighter. I have those every single time I do a special effects job, and I use them every single time. So, well, maybe not the lighter, but that one is still one of the most important because it has saved my life when a tubing gag goes wrong. So that one is definitely in the top 5. I cannot forget to have it. Oh my god, this one is fun because I like to be a hater on things I don't like. So it's what's my least favorite makeup tools? Tweezers? No, I'm kidding. I actually really love tweezers. We need them. They are a huge necessity. But I really don't like beauty blenders. I'm very anti-beauty blender. I've always been anti-beauty blender. You're not gonna change my mind. I'm anti-beauty blender. I also am really not a fan, even though I've done this before personally, I'm not a fan of hands as tools on clients. I have gotten a little bit more comfortable with it, and I think that sometimes it's necessary, but overall, it's just not a method or a tool that I prefer to use, and I don't think it really gives much of a difference in a lot of ways. I've only started using it in the ways that I find that it makes a difference, but overall, hands are not my favorite for makeup applications. And then the flathead foundation brushes, don't even give it to me and say, this is for foundation. That is very much a skincare brush, and I will not change my mind. I am so stubborn. Pause. We got a lip line. Pause. You know, I've done this long enough that I mastered being able to chat and do my lip liner. Don't do it to your makeup artist. Please don't do that. Just don't. Just wait to get your sentence out. I promise you're not as good as keeping your mouth stiff as you think. So the next question was, do I prefer natural makeup or glam makeup? Contrary to what's happening right now, I have a very minimal makeup routine personally on the day-to-day. Don't come for me, we're having fun today. As far as clientele though, obviously I want to do more fun things. I want to do a little bit more glam. I love it for my clients, not so much for myself, because my primary is film and television. I definitely have mastered the natural makeup, the no makeup, and I do really love doing it, mostly because the women especially, but men have the same reaction too. They walk away looking like the best version of themselves, essentially, and they're really surprised every time to see how pretty or how nice they look with just a little bit of a natural makeup. And that's, I think, an effect that I don't think I'll ever get over. I love making people feel like their best selves in their most natural form. So that's what I love about that. And then glam, that's just so transformative. If we're talking personal preference, natural, except for right this moment. And if we're talking professional, I definitely prefer a glam. but I'll never turn down a natural girly in my chair. This last question is my personal favorite, so you always gotta save the best for last. And it was from a personal and not a professional standpoint, drugstore or high-end makeup. My honest answer, while I put on my $3 lip gloss, is drugstore. I love a good drugstore makeup. I love E.L.F. I love anything that I can get from the section at Target. This is Essence. I did get it from Ulta. Yeah, no, I don't really have, nor do I use a lot of high-end makeup on myself. As a personal preference, I definitely have to say I will always lean towards drugstore, but if you put Fenty in front of me, it's game over. Mostly for the reason that there are so many dupes, so many affordable things, so many really good things about drugstore makeup. Gotta do some cleanup, hold on. I also do not think that makeup needs to be expensive in order for it to work good, and a lot of the high-end brands, they're overpriced and they may work good, but not $150 good, not $90 a bottle good. It's just, yeah, no, I'm very much, yeah. Anyway, E.L.F. should sponsor me. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Am I interesting enough yet? I definitely have a lot more stories. I have a lot more opinions. I have a lot more questions that I'm willing to answer. Frankly, hold on, pause. We're gonna give my powder gun a moment. Not the coolest thing you've ever fucking seen in your life. I'm definitely open to answering more questions. This is just kind of the Cliff Notes version about me. If you hang around long enough, you'll get to know way more. You can learn some stories, you can get some inside scoops, some tips, and anything else you feel like knowing. I am very much gonna sit at home and eat a bowl of spaghetti, but I'm gonna set my makeup anyway. This is the Ulta setting spray, but the bottle broke. It was $6 though, so proof as to why I prefer drugstore brands. It's $6 and it works better than a lot of the ones that are 25, 36, things like that. Whew. I think my spaghetti is gonna love to see me coming. This came out exactly as I wanted it to. Am I a makeup artist? Oh my god. I never get to do this type of stuff on myself. This is so fun. Yeah, man, that's me. Kind of, sort of. We get the little better intro to me. I'm super willing to talk more, answer more questions. If you guys have any, you can leave them down below. Once again, if you want to know what products I use, it will be down below. Some of them are singles though in certain palettes, so I will just list the color rather than the whole shebang. You don't have to spend $50 to get the whole palette for the look. I'll just leave general colors down below. I feel like Miss America. Got a hot date with the bowl of spaghetti. Let's go. Honestly, I feel so unstoppable. This is kind of my look, is it not? Now, we're not going to ignore this because this came out so pretty. This is the final look. Admire it, enjoy it. I know I will. I'm going to go stare at myself in the mirror for about 45 minutes because it's okay to be a little conceited and feel yourself sometimes. But thank you for watching. And yeah, come on back and be bye goodbye. Also, everybody say be bye goodbye to hey, hi, and hello. Don't forget them.